Namaste and welcome, my dear friends. We're going to look deeply into one of my favorite areas of the body to focus on, the side body. It's a place that gets neglected quite a lot in the yoga practice, so happy to be sharing a little practice with you that hopefully really creates a connectivity between the upper and lower body's functionality. Let's get into it, shall we? A seated position is where we begin. As you find your seated position, let's shut down the eyes and we'll get into just a very brief amount of breathing practice to begin with here. So settle in for a moment, let the sitting bones get comfortably heavy on the ground. And starting to lift a little bit more through the lower back into the crown of the head. We bring two aspects into a perfect balance here, a sense of effort and a sense of ease. Go ahead and take a nice, very long, deep breath in, with a releasing breath out. And let your eyes soften, your jaw soften, and the shoulders too. Starting to become sensitive and aware of your body in a way where you're absorbing information about yourself on a total level, so taking in the entire body here. In a way, spreading your attention throughout your body to make contact with it, and you begin opening a channel of communication with your body where you start to listen with a great sense of nurturing behind that motivation for listening to the body. And as we begin to engage with the body, it starts and carries on with centering your attention through your breath. So here, noticing the movement that's happening in your belly, very gently, round by round, beginning to deepen and slow the breath down. Taking a little more in on the inhalation, slowing down the exhalation, and just letting the breath start to flow gently down to the belly space. Slowing down the exhale so it takes more time. And overall, your entire duration of breath slows down. The inhale takes longer, the exhale takes longer. And you're taking less breaths per minute. You start to create a chemical shift in your nervous system. You start to steady your mind and soothe your body. And this fundamental yogic style of breathing, this slowed, deepened, diaphragmatic breath, is really this quality of ease that we look to infuse into the challenge or the effort of the postures and create a balance in that sense. So keeping this fluidity and gentle movement of your breath going, we'll synchronize that with some movement. So keeping the breath moving, keeping your eyes fairly soft as you come into cat-cow, rolling over your knees, coming into tabletop position, all fours, and getting straight into the movement, taking an inhale to press the belly down, an exhale to raise and arch up through your spine, and keep on going, creating a nice gentle flow of movement, a movement of breath matched with a movement of body, and therefore you're synchronizing the movement of the mind as well. And in doing this, you get a nice somatic coherence. Inhale to press the belly, exhale to arch the spine, and you keep on going. A few more rounds, tilting the tailbone up and down. And after the next round of breath, dip to the arch. Go ahead and sit down onto your heels, raising the arms up towards the ceiling and twisting to your right. Your left hand catches your thigh and the right hand wraps behind the lower back, lifting through the lower back and turning back the right shoulder. Just for one more breath here. And keep your hand on your leg and raise your right arm up towards the ceiling into a nice big side bend, leaning over to your left. First of many side bends. So keeping the right side of your rib cage kind of lifted here a little bit. One more breath. Raising up the arms through center and taking onto the twist on the other side. So right hand catches the thigh, left arm behind the lower back, turning back your left shoulder. Lower back still nice and elevated here for just an extra breath or so. And the left arm now comes up into the side bend. Again, not so much, don't go crazy in your side bends where you're trying to lean too far to the side. There's a sense of lift through the side body as well. So you want to get a nice little curvature, kind of like a rainbow, rather than a fold to the side. A nice kind of arc through the side body. So just one more breath now here. And raising both arms up for a moment to interlace them behind the lower back. Rolling back the shoulders here. And very gently placing the forehead on the ground into child's pose, lifting the hands up over the head. Just opening up the shoulders for a few breaths here to begin with. A breath or two more now. And then reaching the arms out in front of you to come into downward facing dog. Placing the palms on the mat, tucking the toes, lifting up the hips. And as you get up into down dog, making just a little bit of movement, pedaling, bending the knees, swaying the hips, not trying to be too severe on the body, nothing too jarring to begin with. Just a breath or two more here. And on your next inhale, come into high plank, bring shoulders above your wrists, and then send your hips back into down dog, and do that just 2 more times. High plank brings you forward, exhale takes you back to dog, and this time come into high plank, lower your knees to the ground and come all the way down until you're flat onto the belly, taking the hands off the side of the mat from there, lifting the chest into cobra, and then lowering straight back down. And keeping the legs nice and firm now, keep the thighs charged, lifting the chest as you inhale, and lowering the chest as you exhale. We take just 2 or 3 more breaths like that. Again, firm lower body, fluid upper body. Last time now, lift and lower. And as the chest comes down, either push up through plank or go back through tabletop and into downward facing dog. Tucking the toes and lifting the hips to then walk the hands towards the back of your mat into a forward fold. Really just letting the upper body dangle there and soften. Softening the upper body over the legs. Just taking 2, maybe 3 more breaths there. And then gently bending into the knees and rolling up your spine through to standing. Catch opposite elbows above your head and lean over to your right into a side bend. Just 1 breath. Back through to center, onto the other side. Back through to center and then folding forward, bringing the hands down to the ground. Again, walking the hands out to plank position. Now this time, as you get into high plank, drop the heels over to the right and then lift the hips back up into down dog. Coming through to high plank, heels to the left now. Back to down dog. We'll add a little bit more. High plank, heels go right and raise the left hand up. Big breath here. And then as you place the left hand down, really push back into down dog as slow as you can. And we'll do that a couple more times. High plank, heels to the left. Right hand raises up. And try and push back off your left arm as far as you can before you place down the other hand. We'll do it 1 more time on each side. High plank, heels go right. Left hand raises up. Pushing back into down dog. And last one. High plank, heels go left. Right hand raises up. pushing back off the one arm into down dog, coming into high plank again, and lowering down through Chaturanga until you flat onto the floor. Again, hands off the side, lift the chest into Cobra, and then lower the chest down. We add a little bit more here. Place the forehead down and just lift the legs now. Lower the legs. Inhale to just lift the chest. We'll do this one more time on each end. Chest comes down. Feet come up. Feet go down. Chest comes up. And as the chest comes down now, either push up through plank or go back through tabletop and into down dog. And as soon as you hit down dog, walking towards the top of your mat into a forward fold. Feet towards your hands. As soon as you arrive at the top of the mat, bend the knees and roll up your spine through to standing. Reach up at the top nice and tall. And then catching the hands behind the lower back now. Roll back the shoulders and fold. Big bend in the knees as you're coming down. Softening through the neck here for just 2 more breaths. And go ahead and take a halfway lift. Left hand comes down. Right hand moves up into a twist. Big bend into your left knee as you get there. And we carry on. Right hand down. Inhale, left hand comes up. Big twist. And left hand down. Right hand comes up. Now pause here in this twist. Reach your right arm up over the head. Extending a little more through the side body. Twisting the chest towards the ceiling nonetheless. One more breath here. And right hand comes down to raise the left hand up into the twist first, and then raising the hand up over the head or towards the top of the mat. Forward, and then plant. We'll take just another big breath. And fold. Left hand comes down. Halfway lift, flatten out your back. Step back to plank position. Either dropping the knees or not for Chaturanga, bend your elbows. Up dog to pull the chest through the arms. And into downward facing dog to lift the hips. Just one big breath there in down dog. And inhale to raise the right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend into the knee, tilt the hip up, but see if you can reach your right hand a little bit further out in front of you. Almost turning the hips and the chest a little bit more. At the extreme end of this, the right hand could start to edge its way in front of the left hand. And just taking one more big breath there. Coming back into a reasonable down dog stance, right hand plants, or 3-legged dog rather, and then stepping the foot between the hands to drop the back knee down to the floor. Raising up the arms into low lunge. A big breath here, tucking in the back toes. Left elbow bends behind the head, right hand up on top. Lift the chest and then again into a side bend over to your right. Just going to throw every side bend in the book into this. We take 2, maybe 3 more breaths, keeping the belly in, but chest lifted. One more breath here. And then bringing the hands down to the ground, releasing into runner's lunge. So pick up the back knee, puff the chest out on fingertips, and then gently lift the hips to straighten through the front leg and fold. We're just doing this 2 more times. Bending the front knee, puff the chest out. Exhale to the fold. One more. Lunge, bend the knee. Exhale to the fold. And now we add a little bit more. This time as you bend the front knee, reach your right arm forward and then up into a twist and then forward and down as you fold again. We'll keep on doing that. Bend the front knee, reach forward and up, twist and forward and down as you fold. One more. Lunge, forward and up. Exhale, forward and down. This time, keep the front leg straight. Take your time to come into half Hanuman. Lift the front foot, drop the back knee all the way down, and then in fact, take your hips or your butt down towards your left heel and sit on it. Lift the chest a little, and then fold, coming in. Just 2 or 3 breaths here, not a huge hold. Want to make good use though. Relaxing the shoulders and the neck. Good. One more big breath here. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit strong. Come up onto the fingertips, lift the chest. Now, just a few times, whatever you can manage. Lift the front heel up off the ground and then place it back down. Try and do 2 more. Lift, lower, belly in, lift, lower. One more, lift, lower, and then bend into the front knee. Again, three-legged dog. Front foot lifts up and out, bend at the knee, tilt the hip up, and do a little bit of work here. Right knee to left elbow, crossing it underneath the body. Tap, inhale, lift the leg up. Knee to the nose, pull it in. Inhale, lift it back up, and over to the right elbow to tap. And inhale, lifting back up. Step up to lizard, a very loose lizard. So right foot outside your right hand. Keep the back knee off the floor if you can. Just make a little bit of hip movement here, some circles, whatever kind of feels good for 2, maybe 3 more breaths. Now, one of 2 choices through the transition here, either side plank, but if you can, come into wild thing, a little bit different maybe. Reach your right hand forward and see if you can take your time to step the right foot over the left leg, keeping the right hand reaching so the side body's already long as you get into wild thing for just another big breath. And one more time, right foot to the top right corner and making your way up into a squat. Left foot to the top left corner and sit your butt down into Malasana. Chest up, hands of prayer, driving the elbows into the inner leg just for one more breath here. Belly in. And as soon as you're ready, come through a flow. Hands to the ground, step or jump back into Chaturanga. Up dog pulls the chest through the arms. And down dog lifts up the hips. And immediately from down dog, left leg raises up. And then try to take the left hand a little bit further out in front of you, turning the hip and the chest open, getting into the side body a little bit more. And just taking maybe 1 or 2 more deep breaths there. Keeping it moving and flowing. And then replacing the left hand to where it was and step your left foot between your hands. Drop the back knee down, raise up the arms. Right elbow now bends behind the head. Head lifts a little into the arm. And then over into a side bend to your left. Breathing here. Head lifting into the arm just a little. Squeezing your right butt cheek, your glute. A breath or 2 more. And as the hands come down to the ground, runner's lunge. Puff out the chest, lift the back knee. And then very gently straighten the front leg and fold. 2 more of those. Bend the knee, puff the chest out. Exhale to the fold. 1 more, just get a bit of movement going, bend, lunge. Exhale to the fold, and then we add a little bit more, the twist. So bend the front knee, reach the left hand forward and up, and then forward and down. Keep the integrity of your left arm reaching far out in front of you. As you lunge, reach up, and then reach forward and down. 1 more, lunge, reach forward, get long, and then forward and down as you fold. Pause there in pyramid. Start to lift the front ball of the foot and lower the back knee all the way down. Tuck in the little foot there. I like to sit on my foot and send your hips all the way back to sit down. A little lift of the lower back before you then go ahead and fold in. Relaxing through the neck, the jaw, the eyes. 3, maybe 4 more. Slow, deep, easy breaths. Relax the jaw, relax the neck. 1 more breath now. So chest lifts up a little bit, come up onto the fingertips, round your upper back a touch more. Now suck your belly in as you lift the front heel, and then place it down. 2 more, maybe 3. Lift. Lower, I know it sucks a little bit, lift, lower, last one, inhale up, and bring it down, 3-leg dog, so walk the hands forward, front foot, now the left foot lifts up and out, bend at the knee, tilt the hip up, and left knee to right elbow, cross it underneath your body. Inhale, lift it up, knee to the nose, pull it in, back up, and over to the left elbow to tap. Bring it back up and step outside your left hand. And keeping the back knee lifted. Again, it's very loose. You don't need to push it at all. Just get a little feel for it. Try not to be too still as well. Just keep on sort of bypassing areas of tension. Just noticing where they are. A breath or two more here. And so we're trying to take this wild thing in with quite a lot of length in the side body. So reaching the left hand forward here. And then if you can, stepping over the right leg into wild thing, reaching, holding for an extra breath or two. And we're up onto our squat now. Left foot top left corner. Right foot top right corner. Sit the butt down, chest up, hands at prayer. Just two more big breaths here. Now it's pretty early days for crow, but if you feel like you could just jump out of bed and do crow, no worries. I mean, you're welcome to take it through flow here. I know I like a little bit of more energy before it's too late in practice to do my arm balances, but if you're not warm enough, leave it out, especially your wrists. Otherwise, hands on the ground, hips and heels lift up, drive the knees in, and maybe as the head gets heavy, the hips come up for one more big breath here. And through a flow as you're ready. Chaturanga finds up dog, and up dog finds downward facing dog. Try and take 2, maybe 3 breaths there in down dog. Again, slowing down the heart rate just a little. Taking a little longer on the exhalation. Inhale, right leg up. Put a bend into the knee, tilt the hip up, and stepping the foot in between the hands for Crescent Lunge. Arms up. As you get into Crescent Lunge, right hand physically grabs the left wrist. Try and extend a little higher through the front body, through the left front body, and then over to the right, pulling the arm over into a nice big side bend. Back heel is super lifted here. Just one more breath as you are. And then hook your left elbow around the front knee, hands together initially, pushing the right hand down into the left, and then, if you can, open out the arms here and reach the right hand up over the head. There should be a little bit of work here. 2 more breaths as you are. Now you've got to keep the front knee really cemented above the front ankle as you turn this into Warrior 2. Windmill the arms up and open. Straighten through the front leg and reach up and back. And now as you reach forward, find triangle. So 2 straight legs or thereabouts. Reaching the right arm out and bringing it down towards the shin or the floor. Left hand up. And again, smoothing out the exhalation here. Trying to take some nice settled breaths. Interesting how many places we can throw in a side bend, opening up a little. So here, reach your top arm, your left arm up over the head, reaching for the top of the mat and holding in shapes like this, really almost foundation for something stronger like side plank. We can get a feel for it here for just a breath or 2 more. And then inhale to stand up. Flip the front palm, the right palm now up and back. Reverse the shape, reaching for the ceiling. And then back into Warrior 2 for side angle. Right hand down on the floor, left hand up, taking it into a half bind. Possibly a full bind there, wrapping the right arm underneath the thigh, but keep the power of the back leg nice and secure. Top shoulder rolling back. Just 3 more breaths here now. Now whether you've got a half bind or a full bind, keep it, doesn't matter which one. Begin to straighten through your front leg. I'll do it in a half bind. Turn the front foot in, right hand underneath the face, or you've still got the full bind, and turn your left shoulder up towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths there. And switch. Left hand comes down, right hand moves up. Again, half bind, wrapping the right arm behind the lower back. Now this time, take your bottom hand, your left hand, and grab onto your right ankle, your front ankle. Draw the chest a little bit more across towards the thigh, but in a way, turn a little bit more towards the top of the mat with the chest. The legs stay exactly the same. But you can feel how your left shoulder opens up a little bit here as the face goes towards the outer right knee. So just a breath or 2 more now.
And as you halfway lift, turn your right foot back to the top of the mat, runner's lunge as you find it. And then you might have to shorten up the stance a little bit, but standing splits. Back leg lifts up, power to the top leg, really firm, really strong. 2, maybe 3 more breaths here, super short hold. Holding, kicking, staying. And as you step the foot down, find 3-legged dog. Right leg lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, peel the hip open. Now, stick with me here. Right knee to left elbow. Cross it underneath the body. Now, spin the back heel down and raise the left hand up. Hug the knee into the chest and hold. Knee tight. Maybe, if you want to, kick once out to the side. And then pull the leg in and back into 3-legged dog. Left hand down, right hand up. Right leg up, rather. And then stepping through once again. Right foot in between the hands. Drop the back knee and take a breath. Woo. Take your time here, but again, turn to the left-hand side of your mat. So spin the back knee or the back shin out to the right and turn your chest towards the side of the room, the side of the mat. Straighten through the front leg, get a bit of faffing around going. Right hand to right knee, left hand up and over into a big gait pose here. Reaching for the top of the mat, keeping your left butt cheek nice and powerful here. 2 to 3 more deep breaths as you are. And as you lift up the chest, a little tricky. Left hand down to the back of the mat. Right foot spins flat to the floor. Now, you might lose me on camera, so stick with my voice. Pick up your left knee off the floor and tap it into the elbow. Hold it in for a moment. And as you're ready, flip this into wild thing. Right hand comes down. Left leg turns over the top. Hips lift, chest turns. A breath or 2 more here. And step your left foot back between the hands at the back of your mat. And Skandasana towards your right leg. So sit your butt down towards your right heel. Hopefully you're there with me. Hands to prayer if you can, keeping the chest lifted but the butt heavy. Doesn't matter if the heel is down on the floor, that's all good, that's tricky stuff. 1 more big breath here. And then keep the hips low as you go to the other end. As you hit this end, left hand down on the floor, right hand up to the ceiling, and lean left towards the back of the mat. 2, maybe 3 breaths here. Keeping the chest rolling back a little. All right, I want to take you through something a little tricky. So start to bend the front knee, and we'll go slow. I'll cue you into this nice and slow. So as you bend the front knee, come into what feels like kind of like warrior 2, but your hands are on the floor. So the back foot's in a warrior position. Front knee is above the ankle. Now the right hand is on the outside of the foot and your chest on your thigh. So a couple of choices from here. You can place your left hand on the left hip and do your best to pick up the right foot and kick it. That's pretty tricky in itself. But maybe we start to lift the front heel, take your left hand to the top of the foot and grab a hold of the outer blade. And as you pick up the foot, kick it out to the side and maybe up over the head, really extending through the side body into Visvamitrasana. We take 2, maybe 3 more breaths here. And 3-leg dog, left hand down, right leg up. And stepping the foot in between the hands, and in fact, all the way up to the top of the mat. Left foot meets the right one. Bend into the knees and roll up the spine. Take a nice deep breath at the top. Hands come to prayer. Right knee comes in towards the chest. Now, I think for us, tree pose, not too crazy, right? Squeezing the right foot to meet the left leg. And tension through both sides. The foot squeezes in, the thigh feeds back into the foot as well. Arms raise up. Now, interesting choices here. We can sort of play with the arms and wave them around, which offsets your balance a little bit, takes it off balance, which is challenging to maintain, and that's good. Belly in, left butt cheek squeezing, or bring your right hand just inside your right thigh and raise the left arm up, kind of creating this nice big side bend into tree pose, just for 2 more big breaths now. Ooh. And then back through to center. That is a very asymmetric balance. Hands to prayer. Right knee to the chest. Send the leg out the back and step the foot down into runner's lunge. A three-leg dog finds a three-leg flow. Left leg kicks up. Variations welcome there, like chin stand and handstand, or come with me. High plank to low plank, chaturanga. Up dog pulls the chest, and down dog lifts the hips. We take an extra breath there in down dog, settling the exhalation again, smoothing it, even if it's just for one big breath. And left leg up, inhale. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up, and stepping up into crescent lunge. Arms up. Left hand grabs the right wrist, stretching nice and high to begin with, and then over into the side bend to your left. The hand physically pulls the arm over. Back heel is nice and lifted for an extra breath or two here. And then as you bow forward, hook your right elbow around the front leg. Hands come together initially. So sort out the back leg, get it stiff and firm. And then think about opening the arms out here and reaching the left arm up over the head. Don't worry about what the right hand's doing. Just keep it pushing off the arm, off the leg rather. And take 2 more breaths. And again, keep the front knee exactly where it is for warrior 2. Opening the arms, straighten through the front leg and reach up and back. And reaching forward now for triangle. Reach as far out as you can. Left hand to the shin or the floor, right hand up. And we start to settle into a few nice deep breaths here. As you're ready, go ahead and take this a little further into an extended triangle. So reaching the right arm up over the head, reaching for the top of the mat. Keep the chest rolling back here. One more big breath now. And as you stand up, flip your left hand up and back as you reverse the shape. Back through warrior 2 to side angle. Left hand down inside the foot. Top arm wrapping behind your lower back. Turn back the shoulder here and keep the chest open. Maybe it's a full bind to follow. Catching underneath. A couple of breaths here. Now keep the half bind or full bind. Begin to straighten through your front leg. Turn the front leg in. Now, if it's left hand underneath the face, keep it there. Turn the right shoulder back nonetheless. A big breath more. And switch. Right hand down. Left hand comes up. Turn the chest. Half bind again. Left arm wraps behind the lower back. Right hand catches the left ankle. And start to draw the chest a little closer towards the top of the mat, towards the front leg there, the left leg. Chest still turning back in the twist. Pretty intense shape, really. We'll take 3 more soothing breaths, slowing down the exhale, especially when things get a little tricky. So sort of in one movement, turn to the top of the mat into runner's lunge. As you look forward, find standing splits. Back leg lifts up, bowing over the front one. Very short hold now. Just a breath or 2 more. Runner's lunge. Step down, foot down, hands down. 3-leg dog. The front foot lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up. And then left knee to right elbow. Now we pause there. The back heel comes down. Right hand up and hugging the knee in, hugging the knee in. An extra breath here. Maybe you kick the foot. And then back into 3-leg dog. Right hand down, left leg up. And stepping the left foot in between the hands to drop the back knee down. On our way to gait pose, finding the side of the mat. So again, the back knee turns. Turn to your right. Straighten through the front leg and then left hand down to the knee. Right hand up and over towards the side bend. Really try and squeeze your right butt cheek here. The glute is on. 3 more generous breaths. Inhale, lift the chest. Bring the right hand down towards the back of the mat, onto the floor. Spin the left foot down, left hand up to the ceiling, and hug the right knee in towards the right elbow. Pick it up off the ground, pause for a moment, and then flip this into wild thing. Left hand down, right leg turns over, hips turn and lift. Couple of breaths here, lifting the back of the chest as well. And the right foot steps back between the hands. Skandasana at the other end of the mat. Plonk your butt to your left heel, chest up. 2 big breaths there. Hands can be where you like them. And then switch to the back of the mat. Butt to the right heel now. Right hand down, left hand up into a nice big side bend. Kind of opening up the left side body, which we're in a moment about to compress quite a lot. So good to give it a little release. Another breath or so more. And then towards the top of the mat for something that looks like warrior, a warrior 2 shape. So the back foot slightly turned in. And now the left hand outside the ankle. I'm just going to go straight forward here. Lifting the front heel up. Taking the right hand across the top of the foot and sort of catching the outer blade of the foot. Hopefully you can see that. And then picking up the foot and kicking more towards the top of the mat than to the side if you can. Lifting it up and bringing the arm up over the head as best as you can. An extra breath or 2 here. And up into 3-leg dog. Right hand down, left leg up. A little tricky fun. And then stepping all the way up. Left foot by the right foot. And rolling up the spine, coming up to standing. And last little bit here. Hands to prayer. Left knee to chest. Turning the leg out into tree. Vrikshasana. And as you find this sort of hugging of the legs together, it should create a nice firm kind of line through the middle of your body. Crown of the head lifting, and then a little trickiness and fun with the arms. So left hand to the inner thigh, right hand up. Got to keep the belly tension here, keep it integrated. And a few long, easy breaths. And very slowly, hands to prayer. Knee to chest, kick it out the back, and set the hands and foot down into runner's lunge. 3-leg dog, find a 3-leg flow. Right leg up, high plank to low plank, chaturanga, up dog, finds downward facing dog. And as soon as you hit downward facing dog, drop down to your knees, and then take the legs out in front of you. Take the legs wide, and then just take a few breaths there, sitting down, and sort of letting your breath settle before we head into the next shape. Feel that little bit of buzz of energy through the body. An energetic kind of lightness, an energetic kind of flush. Just taking an extra breath or so here. And feeling the breath way down to the belly to lift the lower back. And then bowing forward over the legs, keeping the feet lifted as far as you want to go. Maybe hands out in front of you or elbows coming down. And we settle in here for a good little bunch of breaths. And not just embracing this shape at this moment, but also kind of guiding yourself a little bit more calmly and easily downwardly towards the floor into much more kind of softer postures, really. Doesn't mean that there's a lack of activation in the body, just a lot more time and space to coordinate what's happening in the body, and that should lead to a sense of ease. So lift the feet, activate the ankles, tense the shins and the thighs just a little bit, just a touch, and then let the breath move freely as you relax your shoulders, neck, and jaw. Starting to lift up the chest. 2 variations on the side bend coming here. So first variation is just to place the left foot inside the right thigh, right arm down, and take it over to the side bend. That's beautiful. A little bit trickier one.
take the left leg into something that feels like half hero. So the ankle is actually outside of the hip. Now, this is kind of only going to be nice if you're fairly deep in your side bend, so feel it out. Both options are perfect. In this variation, the right arm dives underneath the thigh. You're going to have to pick it up and catch the outside of your shin. So you're kind of threading it through this gap. And I can give you a visual underneath. You're kind of threading it through the gap and then reaching for the outside of the leg. I hope you can see that. So if I take it in here, it's a bloody tricky shape, I reckon. So if you catch the outside of the leg, obviously to get into that position, the shoulder needs to be quite deep inside the thigh. So feel it out. If it's not working out, I totally get it. It takes quite a bit of practice. But either way, roll back the top shoulder, reach over for the foot. We'll try and take 5, maybe 6 more deep breaths there. Keeping the left side body inflating and contracting really slowly with the breath. Just 2 more breaths here now. And then coming back up through to center and switching onto the other side. Hopefully a bit of fun or something to think about for the future. So maybe right foot inside or bending the knee. This is very much my sticky side, so I might actually switch it up. Let's have a look. Left hand underneath, catching the ankle or the shin. Left arm, nope. There's plenty of warmth in the side body there, which is nice. And then turn back the right shoulder toward the ceiling and take breath. At the very extreme end, the whole point of being able to catch your shin underneath your leg there is to start to open the knee back a little bit. That's going to pull the arm deeper across the body and take you further into the side bend. So super, super deep and advanced stuff, but interesting nonetheless. Easy on the breath at all stages of your practice, beginner to advanced, same continuity of breath. Let it be free and open, let it be smooth, slow, deep. Two more breaths here now. And gently lifting up, nice and slow. And once you're there, coming towards double pigeon. So left shin on the bottom, right shin on the top. I mean, do anything that feels nice in between this. It might be a little tender through the lower back, but as soon as you're ready, lift the chest and then bow forward any amount. Shoulders and neck completely softening. Surrendering a little bit of body weight to this one. If this is terribly uncomfortable, come into a loose cross-legged position with your right leg in front of the left one. And all the same applies. Bowing forward, relaxing the shoulders. Just 3 to 4 more deep breaths here now. Chest lifts up. Reverse tabletop just for a couple of breaths. Hands behind the hips, feet on the ground. Roll back the shoulders and scoop the butt up to lift the hips. Suck your belly in at the top. Press the chest through the arms. 1 more breath here. And then plonk the hips down. Onto the other side of double pigeon. Different shin on the bottom, different shin on the top. For most of us, the left shin on the top. And then raising the chest to then bow forward, nice and slow, nice and gently. Again, a kind of top-down softening. The forehead, the eyes, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the ribs, the belly. Letting the whole upper body just get a little more dense. 2 more breaths. Chest lifting. Skip the reverse tabletop and come straight down onto your back. And as soon as you arrive on your back, come straight up into bridge. So feet on the ground, squeeze your butt and lift your tailbone up off the ground. Lift the hips towards the ceiling. If you want to practice wheel, now's your time. Hands next to the ears and press the chest up and back. Or remain here and think about interlacing the hands underneath the lower back. Now if you're going to go for that, pop the chest up a little bit higher and wriggle the shoulders together underneath you. Just 2 or 3 more breaths. And release, coming down nice and slow. Dropping the knees a couple of times from side to side, from left to right. Hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Taking over to the left into a twist. Any variation on a twist is welcome really, but let the right shoulder open, let your belly soften. I'm just taking 3 or 4 more deep breaths here, so not so long. And back through to center. Other side, left knee coming in, taking it over. Again, left shoulder dropping heavy, belly relaxing, so your awareness is there within the shape, sensitive, helping it out as you can. Just a couple more breaths now. And then back through center. And I'm going to head towards Shavasana, but I really think it's nice to maybe compound Shavasana. I know it's tough to stay motivated at home, especially when it comes to Shavasana, but maybe as opposed to just laying down and being still, scooch over to a wall and take your legs up the wall, and we'll get our inversion in this way as well. So taking the legs up the wall, they could be straight legs or wide legs, but just giving yourself a few minutes here to rest, and incredible benefits with an inversion. If you double that with Shavasana and really let the body have a rest, moreover than just resting, we've created this wonderful internal environment through the practice where you've really created a place of self-soothing. And within that, your nervous system has responded to that. You've engaged what's called the parasympathetic nervous system at this stage. The deep breathing, the concentration, the movement, all assisting us to come towards this place of rest. What's more beneficial than that is that your body goes into a state of repair. So really, try and give yourself a few minutes here and just imagine little workers within your body going at it, repairing cells and tissues, and really supplying an all-over sense of well-being on the most subtle and therefore felt on the most gross levels. I love you and leave you here. Always a pleasure and an honor to guide you through your practice. I say namaste, and I'll see you next time.